Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego here in the Panhandle, Florida, joining you guys in your YouTube channel for your K1 visa processing, where I give you all this free advice and all this help and all this good information, which doesn't cost you a dime, which is good, right? Which is good. I want to see you get your K1 visa. I want you to get it without any stress, without any concerns. Just focus on the K1 visa and don't stress this. Okay? Now, lots of people are sending me lots of questions, lots of questions, lots of questions. And I got no problem with all the questions, and I try to answer them as quickly as I can in YouTube. But it's probably a lot easier if you guys just ask me the questions right here in the live stream. Now, I'm waiting for the MVC welcome letter from New Hampshire. Our NOA 1 letter is dated April 18th, 2022, and our NOA 2 letter is dated May 30th, 2023. So that was what, like 407 days, somewhere in there. And so we're now waiting for the welcome letter. And I figure over 90 days has passed since we got our NOA 2 letter. So I sent an inquiry to the MVC saying, hey, what's going on with our K1 visa? So I'm waiting for the response from the inquiry. Now, why is it important to send an inquiry to the MVC? Well, number one, when you read the back of your NOA 2 letter, okay, you read the back of your NOA 2 letter, it says this visa will expire in 4 months. So you got 4 months allegedly before it terminates. But that's not technically true because immigration know that you are in the middle of a K1 visa process that's going to take longer than 4 months before your NOA 2 letter expires. So, what are the ways to stay in good standing and stay in good grace with immigration? What are a good way to do it? Well, when you hit 90 days on your NOA 2 letter, to once 90 days have passed, send an inquiry to the MVC in your Gmail account. Okay? Now, you're going to get an email or an automatic response back from the MVC saying, thank you for your email. Don't respond to this email address. It's not monitored, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Then in about 5 days or 6 days, you're going to get an email from the MVC saying, well, your visa, your case will be forwarded to the consulate as soon as, we get it, blah, blah, blah. Now, what's important about that is that you now have proven communication with immigration. You can prove your communication with immigration, which is important. You must print that email when you send the inquiry to the MVC because that will extend the 4 month termination allegedly on your NOA 2 letter. Communication with immigration maintains your visa processing. So that way you don't have to worry about the visa terminating out. You got proof of communication, right? Just something to think about. Now, Jacob Myers is in the house. Jacob says, good evening, Diego. Good evening, Jacob. Now, Jacob, his beneficiary is in the Philippines. Okay, beautiful Philippines. And he's got his visa appointment scheduled, I believe, for October 24th, if I remember, in Manila. Tasha Lynn's World, good evening, Diego. Tasha Lynn's World, good to see you. Tina, hi, Diego. What's going on, Tina? JD, very early. Good morning, Diego from India. Oh no, don't. It's early for you guys in India. It's very early in the morning. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm waking you up, right? Hamid, hi, Diego. My fiance have an interview this coming Friday, September 8th. I'm super nervous about it. Why are you nervous about it, Hamid? It's nothing to be scared about. Don't be nervous about it. Your beneficiary is gonna get 5 or 6 questions, if that. It's over within 5, 6, 10 minutes. Boom. Don't worry, you're good. Brian and Jacqueline, good evening, Diego and Karina. Brian and Jacqueline, hello, my friends, and thank you for the super chats. I got stuck up on Mountain Dew. I appreciate that, and I'm going to drink some right now because I'm thirsty. It's hot here today. So I just went over some information about sending an NVC inquiry. An NVC inquiry creates evidence of communication with immigration, which keeps your visa in process. Okay? Very important. Brian and Jacqueline, guys, you are so generous, guys. Thank you for that super chat. Brian and Jacqueline, I'm going to keep helping you guys. And Jacob Meyer says, correct. And Elison and Ozil, hello, Diego, for the I-134. Why can't we scan and email it for them to print? You have to print the I-134. You go on the computer, uscis.gov/forms, find the I-134, you fill it out on the computer or handwrite it in black ink. You sign it in black ink in a pen, which is a legal document. Okay, it's a legal document. Okay, an email scan document is not a legal document. It's a scan document. It's got no authority. Okay, immigration may consider a scan document, I-134. They might consider it, but that's no guarantee that they're going to approve it. Okay, you got to put your name to paper with a pen in black ink and sign it. And don't do a scribble. Don't do a scribble. Don't do that. Okay, when you sign your name, you sign your full name, middle name included. Okay, so if you are, whatever, if your name is David Richard Stevenson, you're going to write David Richard Stevenson in full. Okay, and you sign it with a black ink pen, I-134, and then you get it to your beneficiary. All right, it's not a joke, guys. A scanned document is not a legal document. Read the instructions for the I-134 on uscis.gov. I'm giving you the information right here so you don't have to go dig it up on a computer. You can listen to my words. Okay? Immigration want to see a signed document in black ink. Fred, hello, Diego. Our status shows ready at the embassy in Ciudad Juarez. We have the K-1 FTP letter and asked NVC through the public inquiry, and they gave it to me. I don't know how to continue the process. Email the embassy, and they will send you directions in a packet 4. Tina, when it comes to other names used on the I-129F, is it just for legally changed names or names on social media? It includes names on social media too. Okay? So if you got a fake name on your Facebook account, you have to put that down as another name used on the I-129F. Camilo Diaz, hi Diego, where can I find the list of vaccines? Well, you could have your beneficiary call the doctor who's authorized to do the medical exam on your beneficiary in his or her home country. Or you can look for my videos. I've made 2 videos on the vaccines. You just got to page through all the videos. And Brian and Jacqueline, thanks for that super chat, guys. You are great supporters of this channel. You really do. I really appreciate you guys. Fred Sopke, we filled out the DS-160, but I have no option to pay. Well, the embassy may want you to, you're going to have to email the embassy and find out what their payment schedules are. You may have to pay in person at a bank in the beneficiary's home country. You got to find out from the embassy how to pay. Okay? The embassy may require your beneficiary paying cash at a bank in her town, in wherever the embassy is located. Whoop slap, hey Diego, payment went through. Found out that all the payments go through after next business day at 13:30 in the Philippines. Now 13:30 is 1:30 for you guys that don't know what 13:30 is. That's military time. So at 1:30, the next business day. Fantastic, whoop slap. Brian and Jacqueline, and we will do our best with trying to help make sure you never run out of Mountain Dew. Well, I actually went to Walmart today and I got a bunch of Mountain Dew. So I appreciate that, Brian and Jacqueline. And then Jacob is asking Whoop Slapper, when is his interview day? Rose, hi Diego. Hi Rose. Whoop Slap, November 7th. Nick Palomo, Fred Sumke, I'm in the same situation, did an inquiry to the embassy, and they said there's no appointments currently, and they'll notify the beneficiary when one becomes available. Well, when they say that, they're also going to notify the sponsor too. Elison Anozil, thank you, Diego, no problem. Janiela James, hi, Diego. Even though I never get an actionable welcome letter, I got an email through an inquiry. Is it too late to ask for it even though I did my interview already and everything? Janiela, if you already did your interview and you got your approved for your visa, right? You don't need anything else. You just need your passport and the K1 visa in the passport. Nick Palermo, hello, Diego. Happy holiday. Today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is Labor Day in the United States of America, where Americans pay homage and we give our thanks to everybody that works and goes to work, and keeps this great constitutional republic moving forward. If you have a job, hopefully you have a job. But today's Labor Day. N187, hi Diego, your advice is priceless. I thank you dearly. I was wondering, is California worth visiting? And one last thing, which U.S. state is the most peaceful? Is California worth visiting? I would love to take Karina to California for a vacation, but I would never live there. Okay, I would never live in California. The taxes are out of control. They just banned the sale of new gasoline-powered cars for 2034. They just banned the sale of gasoline-powered lawnmowers. They banned the sale of gasoline-powered leaf blowers. The state of California is basically turning into a communist utopia. My opinion. But is California a great place to go visit? Absolutely. Just don't live there. Go for a weekend, go for a vacation, go to Universal Studios, go visit Hollywood, walk down the Hollywood Strip and go see the Hollywood sign. Have a fantastic vacation. Go to the Griffith Observatory. I think that's what it's called. Now, that's where they filmed the movie Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay. And there's a great hot dog place called Pink's Hot Dogs in Hollywood. And go to California for a vacation, but don't live there. Which U.S. state is the most peaceful? I would say the most peaceful state could be Utah. Would be a pick. In the mountains of Utah. Nevada is a peaceful state. Not in Las Vegas. I'm talking north of Las Vegas. The town of Rachel, Nevada is probably the most peaceful place you could ever visit. So Nevada, Utah. Whoopslap is talking about Philippines. Paya Paya, India. Namaste, Diego. How long is the wait for NVC to review documents? At what point do we schedule the interview? Well, it's taking 90, 100. I'm over 90 days right now, waiting for my welcome letter from the NVC. 90 plus days have passed, okay? Now, I don't count days. I don't do that. I count months. So 3 months plus has passed, and I'm still waiting for the welcome letter. So anytime. This month, hopefully, we hear from the NVC. Okay, I'm pretty sure we'll hear from them in the next week or two. And with that said, I've got all the documents ready for Karina right here. Okay, I got my 2022 tax return. I got my 2022 tax transcript. I got my 1040, my 1099. I don't have a W-2 for 2022. I filled out the I-134. Okay, the I-134, used the current edition. I got my Navy retirement letter, proof of income for 2023. I got pay stubs from my job. I got proof of employment with my real estate company. I got my real estate license. I got bank statements for 2023. I got 12 months worth of bank statements. And I got a letter of employment from my boss right here. I put it all in here in Document Protectors. Okay. This is going to be given to Karina when we finally get the visa interview scheduled. So that's done. Okay. This is my financial documents right here. In another folder, I've got all the civil documents, copies of the passports, copies of birth certificates, all that jazz, okay? The police certificates. I separate the financial documents from the civil documents. Let's see here. Paya, Ashley Santana. No, Paya asked me, at what point do we schedule the interview? When you get the ready status, when the embassy says, we're ready for you, then you can do that. Ashley Santana, hi Diego, do you hear from the embassy with instructions for medical exam before or after I schedule the interview? Well, what I would do is schedule the visa interview, then schedule the medical exam. You have to find out who the approved doctor is, civil surgeon, who's approved by the State Department in your beneficiary's country. So whatever country your beneficiary's in, you got to find out who are the doctors approved by the State Department to give the medical exam. Once you know who that is, call them up. Well, your beneficiary can find and call them up and say, hey, I want to schedule my medical exam. My visa interview is on this day right here. And then tell the doctor when your visa interview is, okay? Let's see here. Fred, okay, so it looks like Nick Palomo and I have to just be patient and wait for notification. K1 FTP letter dated August 15th. Well, what that meant, the K1 FTP letter is saying that the K1 visa has been mailed to the embassy. Okay, that's all consulate. Brian and Jacqueline, we completed our DS-160 for Jacqueline and Valentina. Fantastic. You paid the fees. Fantastic. Now we're searching for an interview date, but we haven't found one yet. Hopefully we can find one this week. Now you guys are in Bogota, looking for Bogota, Colombia, correct? So I'm under the impression that embassy interviews will be available probably October, November. Okay, so keep looking. They should open up very soon. You're in Bogota, right? For Bogota. Jacob, we are going to do port of entry at Seattle. Hope to skip the long lines. Seattle, as in Washington State, Seattle. Now, Seattle, you make sure, Jacob, when you arrive in Seattle, that you have an umbrella for you and your beneficiary. Because it rains every day in Seattle. It rains every day. I guarantee you, when you arrive in Seattle, it's going to be raining. So have an umbrella. Just imagine the pressure on the weatherman in Seattle. Okay, the weatherman in Seattle, the weather lady in Seattle is going to say, comes on the TV and says, well, let's just say it's not going to be sunny today. Brian and Jacqueline, you are right. Diego, California is beautiful to visit, but it sucks living here. Yeah, I've been to California lots of times. I've been to San Diego. I've been to Los Angeles. I've been to Fontana, California. I haven't been to San Francisco, but I've been to Southern California. I've been there many times. It's a beautiful place. The weather in San Diego is fantastic. I ate at a restaurant called Dick's Last Resort in San Diego. A great place to visit. But the taxes are absolutely insane. The government there has lost its mind. Okay? Americans are not going to tolerate it for much longer. But you get what you vote for, apparently. They banned the sale of gasoline-powered cars. Do you know how many jobs that's going to... Do you know how much damage that's going to inflict on the economy of California? Guess what? People are still going to buy new cars. They're just going to buy them in Nevada and drive them back to California. It's going to kill... California is going to go down the drain, okay, unless they get a new governor. And that's just my opinion. If you like the governor, that's fine. Me, I think he's an idiot. Nothing personal. Larry, I couldn't agree with you more. Loop slap, that's a good idea. Jacob. Nick Palomo, yeah, Fred's subkey, my ready status was dated August 15th. So Nick is chatting with Fred. KH Gaming, hello, me and my fiance doing the DS-160. Can you give us a video on how to do it? I made a video on how to do the DS-160, KH Gaming. I made a video about it. You just got to look through them If you go through, I never ask anybody to subscribe to the channel. To me, it's ridiculous. Either you like the stuff or you don't. Okay, this is your YouTube channel. Okay, I never ask you to subscribe. The YouTube platform, people know the rules of the game of the YouTube platform, right? If you like the channel, you're going to subscribe to it. Then you can find the videos. It's much easier to find the videos if you are a subscriber. But you know, I never ask you to subscribe. If I watch a YouTube video and the first thing the person says to me is, "Don't forget to like and subscribe and share," I switch it off. Okay, I will like the video and I will subscribe if I think the content's good. Okay, if the content's good, that's when I'll do that. But don't tell me to do that until I've checked it out, and then don't tell me to do that. Let me be a grown-up and make my own decisions. Now, let's see. Nick Palama was talking. KH Gaming, hello, me and my fiance. I did the DS160 video, KH Gaming. I made you a video about it. You just got to find it. JD, kindly share all the documents again required for the interview. Okay. These are I have put together a package for Karina. These are the financial documents. These are the financial documents. My 2020 tax return, my 2022 tax return, plus the tax transcripts, plus the 1040, plus the W-2. Although I don't have a W-2 this time around because I was using military retirement, so it's 1099 only. Okay. Then I filled out the form I-134. Okay, and I signed it in a black ink pen, and I'm going to bring it to Colombia in my backpack when I get on a plane. And I want to give all this stuff to Karina. I've got a letter from DFAS, Defense Finance Accounting Services, my Navy retirement letter saying this is how much money I made for 2022 and 2023, going into 2023. I got pay stubs. I got like 8 months worth of pay stubs. I've got proof of employment with my realty company, who I work for, the broker. I got a copy of my real estate license that proves that I'm licensed to sell real estate in Florida. I got bank statements for 2023, every single month, January, February, March, all the way up to now. Okay. I got a letter of employment from my boss, who uses me as a land surveyor sometimes. These are the financial documents. And on the next live stream, I'll go over the civil documents. But the civil documents are easy. All right? Police certificate, birth certificate, passport, stuff like that. Let's see. Brian and Jacqueline in Bogota, Colombia. Yeah, I think probably you need to keep checking. Brian and Jacqueline, just keep checking in there. You're going to get an appointment, probably November, end of October. Okay. They're pretty busy in Bogota. Now, Karina, my beautiful Prometida, told me that she went by the embassy and she talked to some people there, and they've hired all these new people. So they're training people also. Okay. But they got lots of employees. So it's not like they're not short-handed, okay? They got plenty of people working at the embassy in Bogota, and you will get your visa interview. Ashley Santana, so should I not wait for instructions from the embassy? I have ready status and can schedule my interview. Well, go ahead and schedule it, Ashley. I thought I would wait to hear from them with instructions. Go ahead and schedule the visa interview. If you can do it, do it. Don't wait. Get in there and do it. Ross, can you clarify how important is the COVID vaccine prior to the medical, please? Thank you. Okay, here's the deal. Okay. In order to get your green card, you got to have a COVID vaccination. Now, you don't have to have 1 billion COVID vaccinations. Now you only need to have one. Okay, just one. That qualifies you for the COVID vaccination. Do you have to show it to enter the United States as a foreign national? No. You don't have to show your COVID vaccination to get in the USA, but you do have to prove your COVID vaccination in order to get your green card. In order to get your green card, you got to show your COVID vaccination plus all the other vaccinations that are required by immigration. Okay? It's mandatory. Now, there's some people that have been filing requests to waiver themselves from the vaccination. I can't get the vaccinations because because of this or because of that, or you're trying to get a cultural exemption or a religious exemption. Immigration don't care. Unless you are medically unable to take the shot and the doctor says you can't take the shot because it will hurt you, that's the only time you'll get exemption. And you have to have it, you got to prove it. But asking for an exemption because whatever, it ain't going to work. You got to have the COVID to get your green card. Do you have to have COVID to get a COVID vaccination to enter USA? No. American citizens don't have to show it. Foreign nationals don't have to show it. But you got to have it to get the green card. No COVID vaccination, no vaccinations, no green card. Denise Jefferson Diego heard that an MD dropped the ball and did not send the medical package to the embassy in time of interview. Question, do you get this package in hand or do they send the package to the embassy? Now, when you get your medical exam done, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, the doctor will do one of two things. He'll either give you or she will give you a sealed medical exam to you in Colombia, Bogota, Colombia. Karina, the doctor will hand her medical exam in a sealed envelope. Some embassies will mail it to the embassy, but majority of doctors give it to the beneficiary to hand carry to the visa interview. Just like, and you put it with all this other stuff. So I got Karina's stuff ready to go. Okay, these are the financial documents. Then she'll have the medical exam in her medical envelope, sealed. Don't open it. Don't open that envelope. Okay, 99% of the time, the embassy will give you the beneficiary the medical exam. Sometimes they will mail it to the embassy. And so in regards to the doctor dropping the ball and not getting the visa interview to the embassy, now that was my brother Greg. If you heard that ding, now my brother Greg likes to watch the live stream. Okay, he lives about an hour from here, and then he'll send me a text message in Yahoo Messenger because he wants to hear the ding when I'm doing the live stream. And he told me that yesterday. Greg, did you hear the ding? Brother, you're on live. Just come on the live stream with us and chat right here. Let's see here. So Denise, relax, okay? The doctor will not drop the ball with the medical exam. They're not going to do that, okay? The embassy, if they don't have the medical exam by the time the visa interviews due, they're going to be calling the civil surgeon. Hey, we need this medical exam for this interview. Send it to us. But 99% of the time, the beneficiary has the medical exam in his or her hand. So relax, Denise. It's all good. Everything's good. Andrew Bryan. Hey, Diego. Just here watching as usual. Well, Andrew, welcome to the channel. We're glad you're watching. Whoopslap. Fred, did you make an account on this? Jin Ganesh. Hi, Diego. Hope all is well. Did you and Karina get your welcome letter yet? No, not yet. 3 months have already passed since our NOA2 letter. So that means over 90 days, probably 93 days, something like that. I don't count the days. So it takes between 90 to 120 days to get the welcome letter or the email from the MVC. 90 to 120 days. So in the next week to 3 weeks, we will hear from the MVC, somewhere in there. But I sent an inquiry to the National Visa Center and I said, hey, guys, we are very patient people. We're laid back. We're relaxed. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for our K-1 visa adjudication. Okay, please send me an update. They sent me back an email automatically saying, whatever, wait, we'll respond to you, in your turn when they get in my turn. Then they're going to email me back with the information and I'll let you guys know what it is if I get it in the next live stream, by the next live stream. So I don't know. We're just waiting. We'll get it. We'll get it very soon. It's just a waiting game. The NVC are busy people, guys. Let's see. Jin Ganesh. Hi, Diego. We sent an inquiry to the NVC. Good. We got a case number and invoice number. Well, look at you. My case says at NVC. How long does it take to go to in transit? Depends on the embassy, Jin Ganesh. Some embassies are quicker than other embassies. Okay. For me, it will probably take, I don't know, a week, 10 days. Once we get the case number, it'll take about a week to 10 days for them to mail it, the NVC to mail it to Bogota, Colombia. And then what I'll do is email the embassy and say, hey, you guys, my K1 visa package is in transit. I'm just checking in. And then they will email me back and say one of two things. We got your visa or we don't have it yet. Then I'll wait another week and I'll send the embassy another email and say, hey, guys, I'm checking in. Here's my case number. Here's my invoice number, whatever. And then they will email me back and tell me what to do. Let's see. Whoops Life is talking about the DS-160 and the Mexican consulate. And then Jin Ganesh, no, I don't have it yet. And you're asking me how long does it take to go in transit? Oh, it could be immediately, could be that next day, or could be within a week or two. Brian and Jacqueline, thank you, Diego. We are remaining patient. We have waited this long, so a little bit longer isn't going to kill us, LOL. We are just hoping that we can be here before Christmas this year. Absolutely. I think you will get your visa interview probably by the beginning, first 10 days into November. In the first week or two of November, you'll get the visa interview. Okay? In my opinion. Rose, thanks for the explanation. And then Jeniella James is talking to Andrew. Andrew is talking to Jeniella. And Jewel is talking to Whoopslack. Guys, you're doing great. Antonio, I didn't know I had to fill out the I-134A for the fiance and her daughter. Antonio, you do not, listen to me very carefully. You do not fill out an I-134A. The I-134A is an online form you file if you are sponsoring somebody from Afghanistan, from Iraq, in an asylum case, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, from Venezuela. No, Venezuela, I think they cut them out. From Colombia. If you are sponsoring, okay, an asylum seeker, you fill out I-134A. If you are sponsoring a K1 visa applicant beneficiary, you fill out I-134. 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 No A. Okay? And you have to fill out an I-134 per person. Okay? So if you have 3 people coming to America, your future wife and her 2 kids, or 2 people coming to America, you're gonna fill out an I-134 for each person. Okay? So you're gonna fill out an I-134 for your beneficiary, your future wife or husband, and you're gonna fill out an I-134 for her children, your future stepchildren. Okay? So 3 people coming to America, you're gonna fill out 3 I-134s. All right? You got that? Disregard I-134A. If you fill out I-134A, immigration is going to think you're crazy because you're not seeking an asylum seeker. You're asking to bring your beneficiary to the United States on a K1 visa. Fill out I-134. Janiella's talking to Andrew Bryan. I am impatient. The embassy still hasn't sent my fiance the medical yet. They say it takes 10 days. Tomorrow is 10 days. Okay, tomorrow they'll get it. And then JD, medical exam reports, they give me big seal envelope, x-ray, CD out of it, and even one more vaccine shot page out of it. In fact, x-ray, CD, vaccine shots. Okay. During adjustment of status, not required to take to interview. When you adjust your status for a green card, you don't need the X-ray. The chest X-ray, the immigration officer, the border patrol officer will probably give it back to you at the interview at the airport, wherever you land. Okay. If the border patrol officer gives you back the chest X-ray, you don't include that in the adjustment of status. You can hang it on your wall in your house as a souvenir. Okay? You can make it as a souvenir. Throw darts at it. Or let me see if I can hit that alveoli. Okay? But the chest X-ray, if the border patrol officer doesn't take it from you, it's yours as a gift to keep. Let's see. Andrew Bryan is talking to Janiela. And then Antonio. Okay, I-134, right, Antonio? Don't forget, I-134. Angel Tate. Hi, Diego. My fiance and I were together for a long time. Well, let's hope so. Before I decided to file for the K-1. This is good. I wrote in our letter the year we got together. Can the visa get denied because I waited long to file? Okay, Angel Tate. If you've been together for a very long time, that's good. Immigration want to see that. If you met each other face to face within 2 years, you're good. You're going to get your visa. If you waited more than 2 years before you filed your K-1 visa, if you haven't seen each other face to face in 2 years or more, and you filed your K-1 visa, your K-1 visa will be denied. You have to meet each other face to face within 2 years of seeing each other. Okay? So if you met each other face to face within the last 2 years before you filed your K-1 visa to the lockbox in Dallas, Texas, and Louisville, if you met each other face to face, you're good. If you haven't, if you waited 2 years, you're going to have a problem. Jewel, yes, we scheduled the medical exam right away, filled out the I-130, paid the visa fee, scheduled the interview. Jewel knows the deal here. Whoops lap. Good job, Jewel. You're doing amazing. When is your medical exam and interview? Furious Ram. Hi, Diego. How long for a visa interview in Morocco? 2 to 4 months. Morocco's doing pretty good. Morocco are processing K-1 visas. Beautiful Morocco. Okay, we love our friends watching us from Morocco. Let's see, Antonio. So it is better to send her a signed copy of the I-134. No, you send the original I-134. You make a copy for you in America. You keep the copy. Okay. This in here, the I-134 is the original. Okay. And I've made a copy of this complete package for me here in the USA. But I'm going to get on a plane and I'm going to give Karina the original form signed by me. Sharon, look at you. Super chat from Sharon. Sharon Persekian, thank you. High five to Sharon. And I'm going to toast Brian and Jacqueline and Sharon for keeping me stocked up in Mountain Dew. My favorite beverage. It keeps my voice from drying out in this hot Florida heat. Although I do have my air conditioner fixed. Let's see here. Sharon, thank you so much, Sharon. So, Antonio, you're going to fill out the I-134. You're going to sign it in black ink, and you're going to give your beneficiary the original one. Okay? You're going to make a copy for your records. All right? In case it gets lost, which it won't, but just make a copy of it. Sharon Persekian, hi Diego, hi Sharon. Thank you, Sharon, for that super chat. Another toast to our friends Sharon and also Brian and Jacqueline. Sweet Tea Tube, I love that name. What a fantastic YouTube handle that is. Sweet Tea Tube. Hey Diego, my question is, can I fax my I-134? No, you can't. Sweet Tea Tube. You cannot send a fax copy. You got to send an original copy. Right here is the I-134 for my beautiful Karina, my lovely Prometida. Okay, here it is. And then I signed it. I signed it in black ink. And I'm going to give her the original. I'm going to get on a plane and fly to Bogota and give her the original. Say, Karina, mi amor, esta para ti. This is for you. Okay? Now, let me repeat myself, guys. The I-134, scanned, faxed copies. Don't do that. Immigration will, now, if you read the rules for the I-134, right? If you study the rules, it says they may consider a copy. Consider means they may not. And then if they don't, you're up the creek without a paddle, right? Then you go to a 221G administrative hold while you wait for your sponsor to mail you the original I-134. Just send it first, off the bat. When your beneficiary goes into the visa interview, she or he will have the original I-134 right here, filled out, signed, and ready to go. The whoop slap, I'm sorry, Joel, sputum test, yeah, delays everybody. Now that's got to be the Philippines on a sputum test. A sputum test is they're going to check for active TB, tuberculosis. If you have a positive result for active TB, they're not going to block your visa. They're just going to put you into a medical hold. They're going to give you treatment for the TB, and then when the TB goes inactive, it goes into an inactive state. Then you get your visa. So don't panic. Sharon, I'm not getting any notifications that you are on. I don't know, Sharon. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you subscribe to the channel. That's probably the only way you're going to get notified. That's the only thing I can think of. Genielle is talking to Andrew. BBF. Hello, Diego. Thanks for being here for us. No problem. Glad to be here for you guys. My K1 visa was approved on August 19th, 2023. What now? We are from the Dominican Republic. Well, to our friends in the beautiful Dominican Republic, they're processing K1 visas pretty quickly. You got to keep going on. You got to keep checking to look for open interview days. But they have open interview days. They do. You just got to keep looking. My advice is to check at night. Okay, 2 o'clock in the morning, go online and see what's out there. You know, that's what I'm going to do for Karina for Bogota, and that's what I recommend Brian and Jacqueline do. Go at 2 o'clock in the morning. See if you can schedule a visa interview when everybody's sleeping. Let's see. So what do you do now, BBF? Well, you wait for your email from the National Visa Center welcoming your beneficiary as a future immigrant to the United States. Takes about 3 months. Antonio, but what if I'm not planning to go back to Manila? How do I get her to the original? Well, you better send it via DHL. Send it FedEx. Okay? If I wasn't going to fly to Colombia and give Karina the original I-134, I would send it to her via FedEx. Actually, I would use DHL. Then she'd pick it up at a DHL office. That's what I would do. But you got to get her the original. Okay? That's what you got to do. It's the process, guys. You know, it's the process. You could send her a scanned copy. Whether the immigration officer accepts it or not is up to the immigration officer. They could make a decision and say, oh, no, we're not going to accept this scanned copy. We want the original. Then you're going to have to get her the original. Just send her the original. Then you don't worry. Then you don't get caught in that trap. I think it was the embassy in South Korea. They wouldn't accept a scanned copy of the I-134. They said, no, we want the original. Where's your tax transcript? Well, I got my tax return. No, I want your tax transcript and your tax return and the original signed I-134. South Korea, they went into a 221G for 3 months. That's an administrative hold. Took 3 months to get the tax transcript, to get the I-134 properly filled out and properly signed, blah, 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 blah. Do it right the first time. So if you're not planning on going back to the Manila, you need to get her. You need to send that stuff, Antonio, via DHL or FedEx. Danny Apple, hi Diego. I received my NOA1 letter October 22nd. How much longer for my approval? Probably November in 2023. Next month in November. Danny Apple, November. Antonio, how can I send USPS? Don't send it postal. No. FedEx, DHL. Do not send it through the postal service. Don't. Sharon Persekian, how can I find you on Facebook? Well, I don't use Facebook really that much. Some people send me questions in Facebook, but I really don't use it. But I'm on Facebook. You can find it through the YouTube channel. If you go to the subject of the YouTube channel where you can read about whatever the YouTube channel is about, you can click on my Facebook right there. It's in the YouTube channel. Under the what's the channel all about? Blah blah blah. But I don't hardly use Facebook. To me, I can't stand it. I can't stand Facebook, honestly. USPS took 2.5 weeks for me, just paperwork. Don't use USPS. Use FedEx or DHL or UPS. Let's not forget UPS. Antonio, okay, I got you now. Very good. Andrew is talking to Janiela. Denise Jefferson, Diego, in the example you just gave about tuberculosis, admin hold, etc., do they allow you to keep your interview if it was perhaps 2 days later, or could it cause the interview to be canceled? No. You can still go to the interview, but if you have a medical issue prop up, that's where you're probably going to find out about it. But you can go to the visa interview still, absolutely. But if you get caught, if you go into an administrative hold, that gets done at the interview. So you go to the visa interview, and the embassy officer says, "Hey, we got a medical issue here. You got to get cleared through TB. You got to get the sputum test. It's got to come back as inactive. When it does, then you're cleared for the visa. They're not going to block you. They're not going to deny you. They're just going to put you on an admin hold." And that admin hold happens at the visa interview. Okay, so the only country I've really seen any major TB issues is the Philippines. Now, I'm not bashing the Philippines. I love my friends in the Philippines. My friend lives in the Philippines, but that's where I'm seeing most of the TB issues coming from, the Philippines. So if you have a beneficiary in the Philippines, what I would do, if you're watching this channel, if you have not yet filed your K1 visa, get your beneficiary, your girlfriend or boyfriend, get him or her a TB test and see what comes up. If it comes up positive, get them treated started when you find out. And then by the time you get ready to file your K1 visa paperwork, okay, then you're going to have a negative TB test when it comes to the visa interview. Okay, so if you haven't yet filed your K1 visa package and your girlfriend or boyfriend lives in the Philippines, get him or her a TB test. Jacob, I find it so much better to fly to Manila to help pack my fiance up. Yeah, you should accompany your fiance and bring him back to the United States. I'm going to bring Karina back. We're going to fly to Miami. Puni Kahua got in transit but never received welcome letter. Is that normal? No, you should have got a welcome letter. Email the embassy and send an inquiry to the NVC and ask them for it. Sweet T2. So do I have to send my fiance all 13 pages of the I-134 or just the signed part? Every page. Sweet T2. This is a legal document. Okay? All 13 pages are legal. It's all one document. Just treat it as one document. 13 pages, treat it as one document. All 13 pages. Everything. Okay? All right? Let me explain something to you. There was a lady, it was a lady. She filed a K1 visa for her beneficiary from, I think he was in Australia. Okay? He was Australian. So on the I-129F, She said she didn't need a translator because he speaks English and she speaks English. So she tore out the 3 pages on the I-129F and didn't include them for the translator. So she only sent 10 pages of the 13-page I-129F. She tore out she didn't include the translation paperwork because she said, I can speak English and he can speak English. She went through all the process, okay, and everything was sent back to her. It took like 3 months. I think immigration sat on it for 3 months and sent it back to her and said, you're missing 3 pages of your I-129F. So we can't process your visa. And she's like, wait a second. I can speak English, blah, blah, blah. You know, you got to include every page. Danny Apple, thank you, Diego. No problem, Danny, no problem. Sweet T2, for proof of income, is W-2 for 3 years enough? Yeah, 3 years. Or do I have to send my pay stubs? Pay stubs for one. Okay, these are the financial documents that you need. This is what I'm going to bring to Karina in Bogota, Colombia. 3 years worth of tax transcripts. 3 years worth of 1040s. 3 years worth of 1099s and W-2s. 8 pay stubs, 8 months worth of pay stubs. And the last 12 months of bank statements and letters from my boss telling me I work for him. Okay? Proof of employment. 3 years of taxes, 1 year of bank statements, 3 years of W-2s, 1099s, and 3 years of tax transcripts. Now, when you go to the visa interview, the immigration officer is probably going to only ask for the last year's tax transcript, 2022, 99% of the time. But you might get an immigration officer, okay, who gets a flea in his sombrero and says, I want to see 3 years. That happened at the embassy in South Korea. They didn't have 3 years worth. They only brought the last year. So we went into an administrative hold, 221G. Had to wait, I think it was 6 weeks or a month before they could round up the rest of the tax documents. Back in the bedroom back there, I've got 2 more of these binders, but they contain my tax transcripts, my 1040s, my W-2s and 1099s for 2020 and 2021. In here, I got my tax transcripts, 1040s, pay stubs, blah, blah, for 2022. 3 years. When Karina goes to the visa interview in Bogota, they're going to probably just ask her for this 2022 tax return. Okay? That's all they're going to. But if they want 2 more years worth, they're going to be in Karina's maleta, in her bag. She's ready to go. But they're not going to ask her. But if they do, she's ready. Okay? So Sweet T2, but did I answer your question? Do you understand that? Tina, what should we do for I-129F packet if we don't have the exact birth date for a deceased parent and the only information we have is an ID with about a year? So you put in the birth date question mark, and then the year. If you know the year, put it in there. If you don't know the day and the month, put question mark. Okay? Like Karina didn't know her dad's birthday. We couldn't figure it out. Okay? So I put in there question mark. Okay? He's an old guy. Even he can't remember his birthday. All right? He can't find his birth certificate. He doesn't celebrate his birthday. We couldn't figure it out. So we just put question marks in there, and guess what? We got the K1 visa approved. You can't know everything about everybody, but you provide what you can. So just put in there what you know and question mark what you don't know. Let's see here. Andrew Bryan, I understand everyone is complaining about their medical. I'm wondering what's going on over there. So there's issues with the medical department. Where? Which country is this? Antonio to Whoopslap, did you send it to her address in the Philippines? Sharon, my NOA1 is September 14th, 2022. Why do I see later dates of September already approved? Sharon, the same thing happened to Karina and I. Okay. Our K1 visa NOA1 letter was April 2022. People were getting approved in April of 2023. Okay. Probably 50 to 60% of everybody got their visas approved for April filers, and we were still waiting. We finally got our K1 visa approved May 30th, 2023, closer to June, because everybody's K1 visa is different. Okay. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not, there's no, these range numbers that people look at, they're all irrelevant. Pay no attention to it. Your K1 visa will be adjudicated once the immigration officer has done investigating it. Remember, a K1 visa is a Homeland Security investigation about you. That's what it is. It's a Homeland Security investigation about you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. Okay? They will find out, okay, what you had for breakfast yesterday morning. They will find out if you had a speeding ticket 20 years ago. They will find out if you had if you were 12 years old and you were caught stealing comic books from the TG&Y and you went in front of the juvenile judge and they had your case sealed up at 12. They'll find out. Now, I'm not saying this is what's happening to you guys. I'm just telling you what this process is all about. It's an investigation. You got to pass the criminal investigation, the income investigation, the real relationship investigation. You got to qualify for the K1 visa. You got to make sure you include all of the documents that you're supposed to include. And I've made a video. I'm going to make a brand new video on how to put the K1 visa together. All right. I made one about a year ago, but I'll make a new one. All right. So everybody's K1 visa is different. I was like, dang, why isn't our K1 visa getting approved? All these other people, April's already done almost, but I'm still waiting. They had a lot of stuff to investigate on my K1 visa package. Remember, this is my second K1 visa package. So they had to make sure that the first K1 visa I submitted was washed out and cleaned out of the system properly before they could even take the next step of looking at my visa. First, they had to wash out the first one. So it's not an easy process. It's a slow process. And then it goes to a second investigator who does his part or her investigation. And then when you get through the two investigations, then it goes to the MVC, right? You get your NOA2 letter, goes to the visa center. Then they do another FBI check on the sponsor, on me, on you, the sponsors. They do an FBI check. They're going to find the speeding ticket I got in New Mexico in 2000. When was it? 2001, I think it was, right after 9/11. I got a speeding ticket. I was in the Navy. I was in my uniform in a government vehicle. And the state trooper pulled me over. I was going like 12 miles over the limit. And he said, I'm writing you a ticket. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. I was in a hurry. I'm in the military. Well, I was in the Army. Go Army. I'm like, dude, okay, well, thanks for serving. Well, apparently he didn't like Navy guys. He could have given me a warning, I'm sure. But that's okay. It was 20-something years ago. And I never forget the guy. He just didn't like Navy guys. Okay, no problem. But it shows up on the FBI investigation. Let's see. So, Sharon, you're going to get your K1 visa approved, okay, as long as you qualify for the visa, which I know you do. You're going to be fine. Just hang in there. Took 13 months. It took 13 and a half months for my visa to get approved. Michelle, hi, Diego. If the case status says at MVC, does that mean they're still reviewing and doing background checks? Yeah, they're going to do the MVC does a background check on the sponsor at the MVC. And it's very quick. They take your social security number, they punch it in the FBI database, and they run it. And then that collects all the data from every state you've ever lived in, from every county you've ever lived in, from everywhere you've lived, okay, in America. And it's quick. It takes probably, 2 minutes. That's how fast it is. And let's see here. Jewel is talking to Sweet Tea. I found the instructions for the I-134 for the USCIS's website. Yeah, it tells you what to do to provide supporting documents. Yeah, the supporting documents, tax returns, 1099s, W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements, uh, at least 6 to 8 months worth of pay stubs. Let's see, Denise Jefferson, my beneficiary regularly gets malaria. Is that serious enough to get an administrative hold? Sounds like the beneficiary should be visiting a doctor for a checkup even before a medical appointment. Uh, if you, yeah, you can get malaria. It's pretty easy to catch, unless you get the yellow fever shot. When I was in Colombia, I wasn't allowed to go to the. I was allowed, but I was recommended not to go to Northwest Colombia without a malaria shot. In the Amazonias, I was going to go into the jungle of northern Colombia with Karina and do a hike to this lost city. There's a lost city in Colombia, and I just didn't. I was so I got my yellow fever shot to go and do this hike, but then I decided to come back to the United States to go back to work to get my income back up because I was spent 10 months in Colombia. So I had to come back to the USA to get my income back up where it needs to be. Otherwise, we'd have done that. But perhaps when I go back to Colombia very soon, in the next few weeks, maybe I'll take that trip. But malaria, okay, isn't going to block your beneficiary from coming to the United States. Okay, it's not going to stop, and it's not going to be a problem. Just make sure. I would say, make sure he doesn't have a fever when he goes for his medical exam. Okay, when he goes for his medical exam, make sure he doesn't have a fever, and he's good. But it's not going to be it's not going to deny a visa. No. Let's see. Kenny Smith, is this a K1 visa or marriage visa? Is what a K1 visa or marriage visa? This channel? This channel is about K1 visas, but I can talk about marriage visas if you want. I've been through a marriage visa before too. So if you got questions about an IR1 or a CR1 visa, I'll help you. Paya Paya India, do they count past income or current? They look at the income for 2022 tax return. They look at your 2022 tax return, okay? If your income isn't sufficient in 2022, but it is sufficient in 2023, I recommend that you back up with evidence your new income, letter from your employer, bank statements, direct deposits, pay stubs, etc. But also get a joint sponsor, just in case the immigration officer wants to see income that is not in the future. Technically, you qualify if your income exceeds the minimum income requirements, but get a joint sponsor if your income for 2022 wasn't quite there. Even if your income is way and above now in 2023, like my income, it was way above what's required. Okay. But in 2022, it wasn't so good because I was in Colombia for 10 months. So, it's just what it is. Immigration want to see your tax return for 2022. You don't have a 2023 tax return. So you can't prove your income except from letters from employers, pay stubs, bank statements, direct deposits, etc. Now I got all that. So, I'm covered. So Jin Ganesh, hi Diego. So when we sent the inquiry to the MVC and they responded with the case number and the invoice number, is that the welcome letter? Technically, yes. Do I fill out the DS-160 till I get the ready status? If you have an invoice number and a case number, go into the SEAC account, go into your beneficiary's home country, and see if you can start processing the visa. The embassy will tell you if you can or not. Okay, they'll block you if you can't do it. They'll say they won't let you do it if you can't do it. But what I recommend you do is try, give it a shot. Sharon Persekian, I get my late husband's Social Security. How do I get those statements? Okay, the Social Security checks, so they direct deposit to your bank, right? If you look at your bank statements, Sharon, it should say in there direct deposit, Social Security, every month, direct deposit, right? I'm retired from the Navy, military retirement. Every month, DFAS sends me a check, right? Boom, it shows up in my bank statement through direct deposit. DFAS military retirement. And then over here's the amount. And then you highlight it. You get your bank statements, go back for 12 months, get your bank statements. What I did, I got 12 months worth of bank statements. And every time I get income coming into my bank, I highlight it. I highlight my Navy retirement. I highlight the direct deposit from my job. Boom. And I got it for 12 months. And those bank statements are right here. They're right here. Right here. All right. Look at that. Here's all my bank statements. Boom. Look at that. I got 12 months worth. And then as a month passes, like for September, if I still haven't got to Colombia by September, I'll pull out one from the back of the pile and put the September one on the top. So I got 12. Okay. I'm not going to be 13, 14, 15, 16 bank statements, just 12. That's how I'm going to do it. Let's see here. Follow my example, guys, and you will be successful. Noah Noisa, did you say 1 year of bank statements? Yeah, I just showed you 1 year. Zachary Cooper, how long did it take to receive I-129F welcome letter? We've been waiting 45 days. Plus, it takes about 90 to 120 days. I've been waiting, I would estimate about 93 days. So in the next probably 10 to 14 days, I should get my welcome letter. Maybe I'll get it tomorrow. I send an inquiry. Let's see what the inquiry says. But it's taken between 90 to 120 days. Sweet Tea Tube, yes, thank you so much. Sweet Tea, high five. Furious Ram is talking to Tina. I just put the year and gave them a photocopy of his parents' ID. There you go. Tina to Furious Ram, this is what I was also thinking of doing. Thank you. Sweet Tea Tube, do you know how much the visa fee, interview fee, and medical fees are? Okay. The visa fee, I think, is $265. Don't hold me to it. Okay. Don't hold me to it. But I believe it's $265 for the visa fee. The interview fee and visa fee, there's only one. $265. So the visa fee and the interview fee are one and the same thing. The medical exam depends on the country. The embassy doctor, the doctor approved by the embassy. Now, the embassy in Bogota is going to probably charge me around, I don't know, $300 for a medical exam, something like that. Dubai, I believe it's like $1,000 for the medical exam. So it depends on the doctor. How much does he want to charge? The embassies do not regulate the price of the medical exam. The U.S. Embassy regulates who can give the medical exam, but they don't regulate the price. Okay? So if the civil surgeon wants to charge $1,000 for an exam, he can, or she can. It's up to her. Okay? But in Bogota, Colombia, I believe it's $300, $400. But in Dubai, it's expensive. So I can't tell you how much is the medical exam going to be. I don't know. Depends on the civil surgeon. Jacob, I need a vacation from work. Jacob, stop. No complaining, no whining in here. You don't need a vacation from work, okay? You're good. Sweet Tea Tube, thank you, Diego, for the compliment on my YouTube handle. Yeah, I love the name, Sweet Tea Tube. That's so cool. I mean, it's an awesome name for a YouTube handle. Denise Jefferson, Diego, you speak about FBI checks for old stuff. However, the I-129 does not ask for that info. Are you suggesting that people should offer up old information? No. When you fill out the I-129F, you put your social security number in there. That's all they need. USCIS only need your social security number to do a security check on a sponsor. That's it. And it goes back. You've had your social security number since you were a baby, right? They got the FBI. They don't need anything but a social security number. You don't need to offer up anything. They will find it if you did it, which I know you didn't do it. Sharon Prosekian, yes, direct deposit. Okay, Sharon, on your bank statement, okay, if you want to prove your social security income from your from your past husband, bless his soul, go to your bank statements and you should be able to find the direct deposits from the Social Security Administration. Highlight it. That way, immigration can find the information a lot quicker. If you don't highlight it, then the immigration is going to have to slow down. And they're going to have to go through line by line looking for it. But if you highlight it, they can go straight to it. Tina, if they publish updated poverty guidelines with an increase to the amount you need to sponsor before your interview, do you have to meet the new amount requirement? Okay, now this is a good question. So here's the deal, Tina. If I've seen two ways this can go. All right. My recommendation is this: if you don't meet the income requirements, get a joint sponsor. Okay. If you are close to the income requirements, if you are $1,000 above the minimum income requirements, get a joint sponsor. Okay. So if you are $2,000 a month or more a year, or more above the minimum income requirements, you're good. So, my recommendation is if you don't meet the income requirements, or if you meet them now but you didn't back in the past a year ago, get a joint sponsor. That's the secret to success. And the question is, do you have to meet the new income requirement? Yes and no. My recommendation is yes, you do. My recommendation is if you don't meet it, if the minimum income requirements go up, but your pay doesn't go up, get a joint sponsor. Cover yourself. Okay? Now, does that mean you can't support your beneficiary? No, not at all. But it just gives immigration a warm and fuzzy feeling that you're going to be okay. I saw a lady get an RFE. Okay? She went to, this was at the K1 visa interview I believe it was in Japan, in Tokyo. She made $300 to sponsor. She made $300 above the minimum income requirements of 125%. Now, you only have to be at 100% for the visa interview. But she was $300 above the 125% minimum income requirements. And the embassy in Japan said, you need a joint sponsor. And she said, wait a second, I qualify according to USCIS rules. Well, the immigration officer said, this is my interview. This is my immigration process. And I make the decision. And I'm telling you, you need a joint sponsor. And then she argued back and forth. Well, I don't need a joint sponsor. Yes, she got a joint sponsor. She went into an administrative hold. Okay. Only for 10 days. She was real lucky. She got her joint sponsor. He filled out the I-134, signed it and dated it, FedExed it to her in Japan. Okay. She went back to the embassy, turned in the I-134, and she got her visa. She was $300 above the minimum income for 125%. If she had just got the joint sponsor before even going to the interview, she wouldn't have had to go through that argument with the immigration officer. It really wasn't an argument. He said this, and she said, I can't, why? And he said, do you want this visa or not? Do you want the visa or not? If you want the visa, get a joint sponsor. So, that's my opinion. I'm not giving you guys any legal advice, or I'm not an immigration attorney or anything. I don't, but I see this. I see these, I'm giving you information from real life experiences that's going on right now in our world of immigration. Noah Noyesa, isn't that a lot of paperwork to be bringing to the visa interview? Noah, do you want the K1 visa? Yes or no? If immigration says, I want this paperwork, guess what? You're going to bring this paperwork. Because if you don't, you ain't getting the visa. So I don't ever question USCIS. Okay? I was in the United States Navy for 20 years. When my boss told me to do something, I didn't question it. I said, yes, sir. And I did it. Okay? Immigration is in control of your future fiance's life. Her future, his future, is in the hands of immigration. They tell you to do something, you do it. If you don't get the visa. So, you know, the way I look at it this way, being a military guy, I don't question them. I do. They tell me this, I respond in kind. And then I take all this knowledge that I have and I share it with you guys. So to answer your question, Noah, let me see. Is that a lot of paperwork? It's a lot of paperwork. Noah Noisa, wouldn't pay stubs show sufficient proof of income from your employer? Yes, they do. But you can make pay stubs on a printing machine. According to immigration, you can make your own, right? You can punch them up, create your own, go into Photoshop. You can make pay stubs. They want to see pay stubs. They want to see bank statements. They want to see tax returns. And they match them all together. If the W-2s and the 1040s and the tax transcripts match the bank statements and the pay stubs, you get your visa. Denise Jefferson, I see that you, Denise, you snuck in a really big super chat. Young lady, I tell you what, I appreciate you. And Sharon also, okay? Sharon, you guys are the supporters of this channel. And I appreciate that. Diego, Denise said right here, Diego, we are specifically here for your opinion. Thanks for sharing. My opinion is facts, okay? And 8 years of knowledge of immigration processing. I got 8 years of experience doing this, okay? 8 years. I've been through this process 3 times, and I've been to the embassy interviews. I've been to the visa interviews. I've done the spousal visa. I've been through the school of hard knocks. That's the way to learn how to do this. Okay, I learned by doing. So I have filled out K1 visas. This is my second one. And I learned a lot from going through this process. Okay, I don't mess around with USCIS. Homeland Security runs the show. Okay, and I share the knowledge that I've learned from this with you guys. If you don't like the process, some people say, I don't like the process. I'm not going to give USCIS my bank statements. That's private. Okay, then don't file a K1 visa. Don't do it. But I'm trying to help you guys get through this process. What does immigration do with all the paperwork? When I give this to immigration, what are they going to do with it? They're going to shred it all when they're done. They shred it, and they just put the information in a computer. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody, okay? Brian and Jacqueline, 400,000 pesos for the physical. Okay. It's 295,000 pesos for the x-ray, 60,000 pesos for the blood test, the blood. Okay. So 400,000, so 695. So close to 900,000 pesos. So close to $1 million pesos, which is about $400, right? Whoops, Slappers, talking to Jacob. Brian and Jacqueline, 764,000 pesos for the information on the gamma release. Okay, 14 years, you can change the tariffs in the laboratory. Okay, I understand, Brian. Thank you. And for those folks, I try to translate it for you guys that don't speak Spanish. But I understand exactly what you said there, guys. Good information for me. And I appreciate that. These super chats, guys, I really appreciate it very much. Okay, Sharon, Denise, and then we got another super chat here. Another Brian and Jacqueline, another super chat, and Retro Rock and Roll, guys. I'm gonna send a toast to you guys. I'm gonna send a toast of Mountain Dew to all of you for supporting this channel. Okay. Now, when I make a video, I put your names in the credits on some of the videos as supporters of this channel. Let me see. Let me go back up here, guys. I don't want to miss anybody. because I've got some good information here from Brian and Jacqueline regarding the embassy in Bogota. So 475,000 pesos. And then minus the IGRA test, because I'm pretty sure that is for people ages 2 to 14. Okay. Diddy Vaughn. Hey, Diego, I'm on my 76-day wait. What should I do when I hit 90 days? You keep waiting, Diddy Vaughn, just like Diego. I've got to be at least at 93 days, somewhere like that. I don't count days because I'll go crazy counting days. But I got to be at least at 30, at least 93, 94, 95 days. Just keep waiting. You're going to get your welcome letter. Brian and Jacqueline. A partir de octubre 1 de exam, maximum cost 200,000 COP. Now COP is Colombian peso, so 2 million is the maximum. The price can change per person. I'm translating for you guys, okay? So 2 million pesos will be the maximum I would pay for Karina at this point for the visa process. Denise Jefferson. Diego, in your example of your bank statements, do you believe that it is important to send all pages versus the deposit section? Just the deposit section. What I did was I got the deposit section, okay, the deposits, and then I widened out the bank statement, the numbers. Okay, so I got some whiteout. I don't know if I got it right here. I don't have it, but I got this whiteout thing machine, and I whited out the checking, the savings, and the account numbers, and the access numbers. Now the routing number is public record, so I don't even care about the routing number. But I highlighted out everything, so immigration don't need to know what my bank account, money market savings, bank account, checking account. They don't need to know. I highlighted it out. I whited it out, but just the deposits, okay? So just the deposits. You don't need to go show the ongoing proof of the ongoing proof of income will be paycheck, Social Security, DFACS, etc. via deposit. Right. That's all they want to see. They just want to see where the money's coming from, and then they match it up, okay, to what you put on your I-134. So if you say you make $60,000 a year on your I-134 and you got 12 months worth of bank statements, you should be able to prove within a few dollars $60,000 on your bank statements, which matches your I-134, which matches your pay stubs, which matches the letter that your boss wrote saying that you work here and you make $60,000 a year. And they put that all together, and they see that your income is sufficient. Okay. Let's see here. So did that help you, Denise, on that? Brian and Jacqueline, that's what the embassy in Colombia told us in the packet 4. Okay. Yeah, the packet 4 basically is the embassy welcome letter. So that I got a good idea. So I gotta scrounge up 2 million pesos for Karina's medical and visa and all that good stuff, which isn't too bad. 2 million pesos. The current exchange rate for a Colombian from the Colombian dollar right now. So it's let's see, $1 is 4,000 pesos. $10 is 40,600 pesos. So it's about $400. And Denise and Brian and Jacqueline and Retro Rock and Roll, guys, thanks for those super chats, guys. You really help this channel. You really do. Sweet Tea too. What if I can't get a letter from my boss? Does my direct deposit show enough proof? Well, you want to try to get a letter from your boss, okay? You know, just say, hey, I need a proof of employment letter. Okay? Try to get it. Try to get it. Everything that you can put together for your beneficiary, all right? Now, the beneficiary doesn't need to show proof of income. The beneficiary doesn't have to show bank statements. The beneficiary doesn't have to show anything. And now I get a lot of people asking me questions. Well, my beneficiary, she just lost her job, or she quit her job, or she got sick and can't work. Well, as long as she's not sick where she can't qualify for the visa, having a job is irrelevant. Immigration don't care if your beneficiary works or not. They really don't. Immigration only care about what you do, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. That I-134 is all about you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. Immigration want to make sure that you are going to support your beneficiary in the United States of America. Because when your beneficiary leaves her home country or his home country, he or she's going to terminate her job. Unless she does an online, she works from home, right? So there you go. But you got to try to get those letters, guys, from your boss. TT, hey Diego, I got my MVC email with my case number for Cameroon on Tuesday. Cameroon, okay. The 29th, my case is in transit. Okay. When do you think I can see the ready status? Well, probably in about 4 to 5 days. It depends on how fast the planes leave and go to Cameroon. All right. If you live in Sudan, Niger, or Gabon, all right, you may want to probably want to consider not, if you haven't filed your K-1 visa yet, you may want to reconsider what embassy you're going to use for your beneficiary if he or she lives in Niger, Sudan, or Gabon, because those countries are under a military junta right now, and our embassies are not happy with them. So we're probably not processing visas there. Jewel to Sweet Tea, I got a letter of employment verification from our HR. Okay, so go to your human resources and see if they'll write it. Don't go to your boss. If you don't want to speak to the boss, the blue scary boss, talk to HR, buy a box of donuts, go to Dunkin' Donuts, buy a box of donuts, bring them to the HR office. Hey, I got some donuts for you. Oh, by the way, can you get me a letter of a proof of employment? Pretty please. These donuts are good. Brian and Jacqueline, I apologize that I did not translate anything to English. No, you're good, Brian. You don't. No, you can write in Spanish. You can write in Spanish in here. I can read it. I understand Spanish. I know what you said. Don't apologize. It's good. Keeps me on my toes. Diddy Vaughn, hey Diego, yes, I'm trying my best to stay patient, but I just hope it ain't a big wait like for NOA2. Everything's a big wait until you get your beneficiary into the United States. And then when she gets here, all this waiting, all this stress, all this will be all in the history books. Okay? Then you're going to focus on getting married and adjusting your status. And then I will help you through the adjustment of status. Okay? Let's see here. So don't be in a big hurry. Be patient. Everybody in here watching, everybody, you're going to get your K-1 visas for your beneficiaries. You're going to get it. When is the question? But you are going to get it as long as you qualify. You got to qualify for the benefit, okay? Civilly, income, the relationship is real. You didn't mess up the paperwork. If you made it through the to the NOA2 stage, then it goes to the MVC. Now, the MVC have the authority to send it back to USCIS, the visa package, if you messed up and the USCIS didn't catch the error. But the MVC cannot deny a visa. They cannot. The MVC have no authority to deny a K-1 visa. Only USCIS and the embassy can do that. The MVC has the authority to do one thing: create a case number and mail it to the embassy. That's what their job is. Let's see. Jewel, per the I-134 instructions document, you may provide a letter from your bank stating how much money you make in your account. You can do that. I contacted my bank and they will send it to me. Now, Jewel, make sure in that letter, the bank has to say when you opened the account, what day did you open your bank account? How long have you had it? How much money was deposited in 12 months? And what's the current balance? Those are the three things that you got to have in that letter. When you open the account, what day, month, year, how much money was deposited in a year, and what's the current balance? Check and savings combined. That has to be in the letter. Let's see here. Furious Ram. Hi, Diego. What if you get a Social Security benefits? What if you get Social Security benefits for a family member? Well, do you pay tax on it? If you get income, if money comes to your bank and you have to claim it on your taxes, that's income, right? It counts as income. So to answer the question, if you taxed on it, it's income and you can include it. You can also include unemployment compensation as income also, because you're taxed on that, but only temporarily. You need to be in job looking mode if you're on unemployment, but you can include, let's suppose you were unemployed for 3 months and you work for a year, you work for 9 months, you're unemployed for 3 months. Okay, when you filed your taxes, you had to include a 1099 for your unemployment compensation, right? And then you got your W-2 and your 1099 from your boss or whatever. You paid your taxes on that total income. So you can count unemployment compensation as income for immigration, but not permanent. You can't be on a full-time unemployment vacation. The benefits come in my name. Do I add that to the I-134? If you are getting paid Social Security income, that counts as income. If it's in your name, you can count it. Okay, sure, but you don't separate it. You just add up the total income for the year, whatever it is. So if you got income coming from 3 places, like I got military retirement, I got my day job, right? So I got income coming from those 2 directions. I add up the total income for the year, and that's what I put on my I-134, right? Life in North Carolina, the eligibility letter or email to my Manila fiance can take forever or not show up to her. Is that right? Well, you got to send it through DHL. If letter of eligibility, what's an eligibility letter? You talking about letter of intent to get married? You got a life in North Carolina, you got to write a letter of intent to get married, and so does your beneficiary. And then you have to send it to her. You got to sign it and date it and send it to her. Send it to her DHL, FedEx, okay? But she needs to get it. Sharon, this process has tested my patience, but I'm hanging in there. It has not been easy. Sharon, I understand completely. I went through my first K-1 visa 2016. The whole thing took 9 months, okay? It didn't work out. She didn't like it in the United States. She didn't like the hurricanes. She didn't like the weather. She didn't like the food. She didn't like TV. She didn't want to learn how to drive a car. I said, okay, well, you're not going to make it in America if you don't know how to drive a car. If you're scared to live here. So I took her home, right? We were married, but I took her home to her mom. I took her home. Sad day, right? Okay. Not mine. It's life carries on. Then she decided she wanted to come back to the United States. Oh, I want to come back. Okay. So I filed a spousal visa. It was because we've been married for longer than 2 years. She was eligible for a 10-year green card. So I filed for the spousal visa. Then COVID hit. So I was in an 18-month close down. The whole world shut down for 18 months, right? Then I called my senator and got her visa approved. And then she decided, no, I've decided I want to stay here. I don't want to come to America. I'm still scared of hurricanes. I still don't want to learn to drive. The food, I still don't like the food in the United States. Okay, says I, stay in your home country, have a nice life. Boom, I hired an attorney in her country. I served her papers, got divorced, and that took forever too because of COVID. But I got it done. I'm not going to be a victim at all, ever. Never be a victim. Be a victor. Then I found beautiful Karina. The beautiful Karina. Oh, she is the angel. She's an angel for me from heaven. Okay? Everything's working out great. And I've got all this knowledge in my head on how to do this to help you. Whoop slap. My HR lady is from Russia. Came here on a work visa. After she got citizenship, she met a man in Egypt and married him. They did a CR1. And she is a big advocate to corporations about supporting people going through the visa process. There you go. Sharon, Sharon, be patient, okay? Remember, I went through the K1 visa for 9 months. Then I went through the spousal visa for a year and a half. All right. So that's what 16 months plus 9 months. Now I've been going through this K1 visa with Karina for what 15 months, I think, somewhere like that, 16 months. But I'm at the end of this. You will be at the end of it too. Boom. Don't be a victim. Hang in there. You can do this. All right. I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you through it. Brian and Jacqueline, hang in there, Sharon. The wait is terrible. Agreed. But the reward is worth it. Agreed. It has not been easy. You will get your K1 visa soon and be with your loved ones. Super soon. That's right. Sheena Anderson. Hi, Diego and Karina. Sheena and Christian, say hello. And Randall Wheat just sent me a super chat. Guys, I'm going to be loaded up with Mountain Dew for the whole month. Randall, high five. Thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Sheena is from Maryland, guys, and say hello to Sheena. And her beneficiary lives in Dubai, right? Isn't he in Dubai? Adam, what's the complete list of I-134 documents that needs to be sent to me from my fiance and the joint sponsor? Well, I made a video about it, but you're going to need so what is the complete list of documents needs to be sent to me and her joint sponsor, the father? Well, the joint sponsor, the father, is going to provide exactly the same documents as the sponsor. Tax returns, 3 years. 1099s, tax transcripts, 3 years. Proof of employment, pay stubs, at least 6 to 8 months worth. 12 months worth of bank statements or a letter proving 12 months worth of, I just get the bank statements. It's so much easier than writing the letter. There's a lot of stuff involved, Adam. Okay. I made videos about it. Sweet Tea, do they need to know how much is currently in my bank, like a letter from my bank for the I-134? It depends on how much your income is. If your income is way above the minimum federal income requirements, then no. You don't have to disclose your bank's, whatever your balance is in your on the I-134. But I would recommend you include it. Even if you are way above the income requirements, include it. Sheena, Diego, can you do an update interview video for Lagos, Nigeria? Yeah, I got it ready to go, actually, right here. I got all the information right here. Let's see here. So I'm going to do that, Sheena. Lamin Jaban. Hello, Diego. How are you? My fiance have the approved letter, not the welcome letter yet. Takes about 90 days, Lamin. 100 days, probably a bit longer. And Sharon is talking to Brian and Jacqueline. That's what keeps me going. And Whoopslap, you've been doing video for 1 hour and 30 minutes. I have to go now. God bless all of you, and you will get your loved ones here. Whoopslap. See you later, Whoopslap. Jin Ganesh, thank you, Diego, for all the help. We appreciate all the info. No problem. I want to wrap it up here in a minute. Brian and Jacqueline, thank you, Diego, for all the great info again today. God bless you and Karina and everyone here watching. And I hope everyone has a beautiful night. With that, Brian and Jacqueline, I'm going to wrap up this YouTube live stream today. I can't even remember what day it is. Monday. Happy Labor Day. And I'll be back on Wednesday. Okay. And I'm going to answer CBOYO5's question. His fiance is from Venezuela, lives in Venezuela. So I'm going to help him personally. Hi, Diego. My prometida and I are still waiting on a passport for her on our 3rd month. Takes about 6 months to get a passport in Venezuela. Okay. So you're about halfway there. You've already paid it, right? Didn't you pay like $600 for the visa? I mean, for the passport, $600-800 is what it costs for a passport in Venezuela. You know, the fact that the Venezuelans only probably make, $1 a day, and the Venezuelan government makes you pay $800 for a passport tells you one thing. The Venezuelan government does not want you to leave Venezuela. They are trying their hardest to stop you from getting a passport. But you're going to get your beneficiary her passport, right? Y05. Adam, what if my fiance doesn't have 3 years of tax stubs or tax returns? She just started working a year ago. Then provide what you got. Just provide what you got. But when you do the adjustment of status for the green card, you're going to have to explain that in a letter, okay, to immigration. You got to write an explanation. Sheena Anderson, that's correct. Christian lives in Dubai, but the interview is in Lagos. Why not do it in Dubai, Sheena? Why not put the interview in Dubai instead of Lagos? But I mean, it's up to you. Denise Jefferson, thanks, Diego. Bring your welcome letter with you. Oh, yeah, I got all that. These are the financial documents right here. At the next live stream, I'll talk about the civil documents for the visa interview, and then I'll combine them both. Thavi Sray POV, hi Diego from New Hampshire. Thank you for great information. And with that, and Sheena says thank you, and Denise says thank you, and I thank you guys, especially, I mean, everybody in here. You're going to get your visa, okay? Relax, you're going to get it. Trust me, okay? You're going to get it. Thanks for the super chat, guys. That's fantastic support of the channel, and we will see you on Wednesday.